Good morning. We'll go ahead and call to order the Regional County Sanitation District, Sacramento Area Sewer District, and Sacramento County Sanitation District Financing Authority meeting for Wednesday, October 9th, 2019 at 9:31 a.m. and ask for a roll call, please.
Good morning. Director Bruins, Carr.
Here.
Frost.
Here.
Harris. Howell. Kennedy. Lee.
Morning.
Mr. Lee, are
Lee?
you here?
I'm here.
McGarvey.
Here.
Lee, I'm here.
Nottoli.
I think I'm here. I kind of blank out, you know? Thank you.
Orozco. Peters. Serna.
Here.
Oh, sorry. Villegas. Morin. And Hume.
I am here.
You have a quorum.
Great, thank you. And if you wouldn't mind reading the Metro replay statement.
This meeting of the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation and Sacramento Area Sewer Districts is being recorded and will be broadcast on Sunday, October 13th at 6 p.m. on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T UVerse cable systems. The meeting is closed captioned for our hearing impaired viewers. In accordance with the Government Code 54952.3, compensation for meeting of these legislative bodies is required to be verbally disclosed. The amount of $100 will be paid for each member participating today as a member of the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District, and the amount of $100 will be paid for each board member participating today as a member of the Sacramento Area Sewer District. Compensation for the Sacramento County Supervisors and City of Sacramento Council members is paid to the county and city respectively to partially offset the costs of those governments. Compensation for other board members is delivered to the individuals. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker identification form located at the back of chambers and hand it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing the board and state your name for the record. Please silence your electronic devices at this time. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Please address the flag and join Director Orozco in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. We would read item number 1.
Acting as your Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District, district consent matters, items 1 through 5.
I believe we
We're
have
going to
closed session
pull
prior to
item
that.
4 for discussion and then act on the rest of them.
Beg pardon?
We're going to take 4 out of sequence and have a discussion on it, and then act on 1, 2, 3, and 5 as a consent.
Okay, do I have a motion for the remainder then?
I'll move 1, 3, 2, 3, and 5.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? All right, now, item number 4.
Item number 4, contract number 6009, approve award of Franklin Sims entry landscape improvements.
Ruben will start the discussion, and then our counsel, Krista Whitman, will add on to it.
Good morning, Board. This is the project to award a landscape contract. If you recall, we brought this to your Board for approval to advertise recently. We described the project to be a rehabilitation of our front entrance. This project will replace and improve that landscape. And the landscape was installed in the early 90s, so it's almost 30 years old. And it is the frontage to our plant, right on Franklin and Sims. At that approval to advertise, we indicated that our staff worked closely with the landscape architect because the costs were very, very high, and they're still high. And our staff was able to reduce the scope of work and those costs by hundreds of thousands of dollars, but we were still worried about those costs. So in the bid of this project, we broke the various areas into 3 areas, 1, 2, and 3. And we asked our landscape architect to provide a cost estimate for those 3 areas so that if we chose to, if the cost came in very high, that we could select 1 or more of those areas. So the bid bid sheet was developed that way. And so our recommendation is to award to the second low bid, Marina. In a moment, I'll let Krista discuss the why, but they are not the low bid. We did not feel they met the bid requirements, and I also believe we have representatives from Consumers and Marina here to discuss it. I can provide some more details on the bid once Krista gives her legal review.
Good morning. A couple of issues with the Consumnes' bid. Consumnes, as Ruben said, was the low bidder. There were 2 issues that were raised by Marina, and The first one related to the failure of Casumnas to fill out the form acknowledging addenda blank through blank, and they were supposed to fill out 1 through 1. This was something that we looked at and determined that was not a substantial error. It's not something that we would have given them relief from their bid for. It's certainly something that can be waived by this board, and our recommendation would be to waive that. I think it was an immaterial error. The second issue was raised by Marina, was that their bid was unbalanced, and as Ruben indicated, they were supposed to be providing costs for three different areas, and rather than have specific items, they just divided their total by the 3. The bid documents indicate that a bid in which the prices are unbalanced may be rejected, not shall be. So this is something that is entirely in the board's discretion. If the board wants to waive that unbalanced bid, they may. And on the other hand, if the board feels that this is a significant issue and wants to award to Marina, that's also well within the board's discretion.
Let me provide a little more information on our judgment. So if you go to the board package on page 2 of the board letter, there's a table on page 2 toward the bottom, and there's some key information there. Third column provides our landscape architect's estimate, and is broken up by area 1, 2, and 3. Items 4 and 5 are basically having to do stormwater pollution prevention. And so you can see area 1 has a significant amount of differences in scope. The landscape architect put together a pretty extensive cost estimate. It included the areas, the number of trees, the number of bushes, the number of grubbing, the number of trees to be removed, the number of items to be planted, et cetera. So it's pretty detailed. So area 1 for the landscape architect estimate was roughly $223,000. That was their estimate. And then you see the pricing for areas 2 and 3. So significant difference in scope and cost for area 1. Then you see the bidder responses for each of those areas. The next one is Casumnas River, the apparent low. And so you can see from their numbers, area 1, 2, and 3, they basically divided their bid into 3. And then going on, you can see Marina Landscape, the second low bid, had costs of $218 for area 1, and then on down the line. Now let me switch to the rows showing area 1. You can see again the landscape architect's estimate. This is the area, the row that's in bold. So if you look at each of the bidders' cost for area 1, all of them appeared to know that there was a significant difference in the area 1 costs, except for Casumnas. So Marina, for example, $218, and the other ones had a significantly higher cost for area 1 versus Casumnas that appeared to divide their numbers by 3. But as Krista said, if in your judgment we want to award differently, that your board obviously can, but that was our assessment.
Why did staff segment the bid into those 3 areas?
Because the costs for landscaping were very high and still are high. $360,000. So we wanted to have the discretion with your board approval. If we felt area 1 was the only one we wanted to do to save cost and do a phased approach, we can do that.
Okay.
And so the bid said we could choose one or all of them, the various areas.
Okay, great, thank you. Director Nottoli.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know we have, I don't know if we have speakers, but I assume we may have speakers on this, but.
If I can pause you right there, I do not have speaker slips, but I would assume the representatives would like to speak, if you wouldn't mind filling out a card.
Okay. Well, while they're doing that, I would just say I appreciate, and I have had a chance to certainly review the staff report and actually followed up with staff yesterday. In reading the communication that was attached, and I appreciate that staff attached the communication, both the protest letter from Marina as well as the response from Casumnas River Landscaping. And it's my understanding, both from the letter that's provided in the packet, but also from discussion with staff, that there was a follow-up with the presumed low bidder on this, and that there was a clear understanding, irrespective of how they broke their bid out, they have to be bonded in order to do this work. They have to meet the obligations of the contract. And I guess one of the things that occurred to me that some of these are more local cited and maybe there's some advantage, but nonetheless, it would fall to the contractor to meet the obligations of the bid. And, the rationale here where it says it may be rejected and then we turn around and actually reject it on the staff basis, I guess I happen to disagree. From everything I've heard thus far and read thus far, it seems to me that the contractor's responsible. They came in with roughly only 10% less than what the architect's estimate was. They were higher in a couple of categories, and I get it. Maybe some of those areas are larger, and maybe there's more landscape material. But that's the contractor's obligation. And if they'd gotten, if we'd only bid out area 1, they would have been, they would have to perform for that, and without any assumption of change orders and otherwise. And so, I'll just say that as I've read this and certainly had a chance to follow up with staff, it appears to me that certainly, as Krista says, we have the discretion here to award to the lowest responsive bidder, and I would, have to be persuaded that. In this case, that the lowest bidder was not responsible in their bid. They may not have provided the same balance, but I don't see any indication that they didn't understand what the bid requirements were and that they couldn't perform as required. They might lose some money on the job if we only bid the first one out. But that's up to them to make that decision. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it.
And I just wanted to comment. The issue isn't whether they're a responsible bidder. I just wanted to make that clear.
Right.
That
Okay.
The
It
issue
isn't.
really is whether they complied with the strict requirements of the bid.
But the strict requirements, as you said, and it's very clear here, it said may. Didn't say shall be rejected
Certainly.
if you weren't balanced. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Director Serna.
Thank you. I completely concur with Director Nottoli's assessment of this, and quite frankly, given some of the explanation by staff about the first row, bid item 1 row, even if you look at Joe's landscaping, that's $150,000. That's more than $100,000 from the highest bid for that area. So to me, this combined with the fact that, as Krista mentioned, we have the discretion to make a determination as whether or not it's material in this case, whether or not the balance is a factor, I would concur with Supervisor Nottoli that this falls clearly into our responsibility to look carefully at the lowest responsive bid.
Great. Thank you. Director Frost.
Well, I agree. It's our responsibility to look to the lowest responsible bidder, and I'm wondering if it's possible to hear from Consumnes River Landscape, because the question I have is, what if we did single out to just do Area 1? Would they be able to do Area 1 for the in accordance to the bid that they had submitted?
Well, that's a perfect opportunity for a segue, so let's go ahead and open up public comment. And I'll call Mr. Cookson with Consumnes River Landscaping.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, board members. Thank you for your time today. My name is Jeff Cookson. I am the owner of Consumnes River Landscape, small local business owner with low overhead that allows me to keep my prices very competitive. Regarding the Franklin Sims entry project, after many on-site reviews, walking the project, studying the approved plans, I came up with a proposal that I stand behind. My methodology when coming up with the bid for this project consisted of many things such as demolition, cost of materials, and labor. As with all of my projects, I provide the most accurate estimate with the information that I'm given. I have provided a qualified, responsible proposal for the work described by Regional Sand, and it was the lowest out of 5. I stand behind my proposal and my work, whether it be sections 1, 2, or 3. Therefore, I'm asking you to consider awarding the company, or my company, the Franklin Sims entry project.
Great, thank you. And so to Director Frost's question, what would the material impact be if we were to only determine to award?
I'd stand behind my proposal as it's written.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak on this item? Okay, seeing no one, go ahead and close public comment. Any further director comments, questions of staff? I'll just say that I happen to concur with the comments that have been made. I believe that the discretion does lie with this board. As we've just heard from the respondent, he would stand by his bid as written. And so for me to throw out the lowest bid and award almost $50,000 more for the project doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I would support a motion to reject staff's recommendation.
I would,
I would tender that motion that we reject staff's recommendation and we award to the lowest responsive bidder.
Very good.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and 2 seconds. Any further discussion from the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstentions? Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Item number 6, comments from the public on issues not on the posted agenda.
I do not have anybody signed up to speak on this item. Is there anybody wishing to comment on an item not on the agenda? Seeing no one come forward, we'll move on to item number 7, please.
Item number 7, acting as your Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District Separate Matters, Echo Water Project Quarterly Report for July 1, 2019 through September 30th, 2019.
I think you all know William Yu. He works on our Echo Water project. William will be giving the presentation today. Vic Chiatani, our program lead, had a surgery. He's doing very, very well. He's working part-time, and he'll be back full-time in the very near future, but we're in good hands with William.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm William Yu. I'm a senior engineer with the Echo Water Project Program Management Office. I'm here to give you an update, quarterly update of the program. The presentation contains an overview of the program status, some financial information, and some significant elements including latest activities and milestones. This is a summary of the program schedule. The green bars are the planning and design phases of individual projects. The blue and the purple bars are used to show the construction and commissioning phases. The red line is showing the current date. Construction of the two largest projects, the biological nutrient removal project and the tertiary treatment facility project, continues to progress. All other projects other than the closeout projects are scheduled to finish between the fourth quarter of 2019 and early 2020. This graphic shows the linkage of some projects that have to be finished before the BNR project for a functional treatment process. The green bars after the project completion represent project flow. We expect the 3 projects related to the BNR project, the BNR facility operation, will complete before they are needed. And we have completed all the other projects that are linked to the TTF project. So the TTF project kind of on its own. This is a histogram of the program cash flow. The dark bars are actual expenditures, and the lighter color bars are projected expenditures. We're currently ramping up on construction expenditure as a result of increasing activity for the TTF project. This graphic shows the actual versus projected expenditures. We're tracking below the projected expenditures right now. Some program update. We have over 2.8 million labor hours logged already. There's a typo in the first bullet. We actually have 25 lost time injuries. It didn't go up, like compared to the last quarterly update, it's the same, it's 25, but it didn't go down either. We have over 99% of the concrete on the BNR project has been placed. The contract is moving rapidly on the electrical and instrumentation work. As reported by our program manager before, looks like the contractors will not meet the intermediate milestones for the BNR project. Staff continue to work closely with the contractor to develop a target schedule. The current version of the target schedule shows the project still will finish before our compliance date. For the TTF project, the concrete work continues to progress at all major structures. The effluent system reliability project to replace some large valves in our effluent system is wrapping up. We have completed over 20 full plant shutdowns of up to 48 hours in 2 construction seasons. It requires a lot of coordination effort between plant operations staff and also the project team. The last bullet, the nitrifying side stream treatment project is still in commissioning phase right now. We are going to some construction photos right now. This is an aerial picture of the treatment plant taken recently on September 30th. This is an aerial for the biological nutrient removal project, looking northeast. Basin concrete work is almost finished. The two buildings at the bottom right-hand corner is the area control center and also the blower buildings, which houses 6 very large 3,000 horsepower single-stage blowers to provide air for the process. A major milestone for the project is the arrival of the primary effluent pump station pumps. The PEPS pump is to provide the necessary lift for the flow coming through the primary effluent conduit into the new B&R facility. These are 110 million gallon per day pump, and they're about 60 feet tall. This is a picture of the manufacturer setting up the PEPS pump for delivery after the factory performance test is performed in Los Angeles. This is another picture of the B&R basin. Looking northwest, showing the remaining concrete work. Again, the concrete work is like 99% complete. This is an aerial shot of the tertiary treatment facility. Top right-hand corner is the construction of the primary of the filter influent pump station, pumping the flow from the secondary effluent channel to the tertiary treatment facility. In the middle, at the top, is the sand filtration facility. Below that is the new disinfection contact basin. Zooming into the filter influent pump station and the connection to the existing effluent conduit. This picture is a close look at the formwork and the steel placement for the filter influent pump station for the tertiary treatment facility. This is an aerial shot of the nitrified side stream treatment facility. Contractor is still working on commissioning of the facility. The process has started to remove ammonia already. This is a picture for the channel air blower project. It's replacing a 50-year-old blower system to provide process air to the channels to keep the solid in suspension. This picture is showing the building housing the blowers. This picture shows some heavy-duty pipe support for the air intake and discharge system. The picture on the left is showing the connection to the existing central tunnel of the plant. The picture on the right is showing the connection in the mezzanine connecting to the 3 new blowers providing channel air to the primary treatment process. This is the return activated sludge project. Is to install new pumps at the existing 24 secondary clarifier to provide enough lift from the clarifier to return sludge to the B&R facilities. Contractor is wrapping up work in the battery-free of the SSTs. This picture is showing the testing of the aeration system in the mixed liquid channel to keep the solid in suspension. Some upcoming activities for the program. Yesterday, we actually started the last effluent system reliability diversion. It should be wrapping up today. For the CAP project, the contractor we worked on tie in to the existing air system. For the WES project, we are wrapping up the battery-free work, and we expect we will be returning the battery-free clarifier to operations to allow to get ready for the winter operation in November. We are still working with the flow equalization contractors on the automatic washdown system panels. We are continuing to progress on TTF for the concrete placement. Aeration piping in the B&R Basin 1 is complete. So in this quarter, we are continuing installation of the aeration piping for Basin 2 and 3. The PEPS pump factory test is actually completed last week, and we expect the last pump to be on site sometime next week. And we are going to be continue the commissioning activity for the NST project. That's the end of the presentation, and we are open for any questions from the director for staff.
Very good. Any questions at this point? No? Great. Thank you for the update. Appreciate it.
I just wanted to make one comment as a kind of milestone. Remember, we started all this project because of the ammonia removal, right? So you saw one of the projects was, so those of you that took the tour, we walked up to a basin where we have a lot of bubbles coming through, and we started that process early. So last week or a couple of weeks ago, we have removed 1 million pounds of ammonia. Earlier than, remember our compliance date is 2021, May 2021. So we started removing the ammonia early, and we reached the 1 million pound milestone a couple of weeks ago, which is kind of a good thing.
1
So
million a year, a month?
So far, after we started, we started the testing roughly in March of this year, March to April of this year. So in the last 5-6 months, we removed about 1 million pounds from going into the river. And not only that we removed 1 million pounds of ammonia, we converted into something that's beneficial to us, where we use it so we can reduce our costs.
Great.
So it's a double benefit that we have. Anyway, I just wanted to give you kind of that milestone. We'll forget the 2, 3, 4 million because we're going to be removing millions and millions of pounds. So.
Well, the Delta smelt, thank you.
Well, if they ever bothered by it, I'm sure they would. I'm not quite sure if they ever were bothered by it.
This is true. We don't know that.
I also want to highlight a couple of things that William said, and we're wrapping up some projects over the next 3 to 6 months, which are really important. William mentioned the valve project. If you recall, we changed out last year and into this year 18 very large valves on our effluent system, some as tall as 8 feet tall. That was a very, very high-risk project because it's part of our effluent system, so we just wrapped that up this week. We are finishing up the blower project. So that's the project to provide air to the biological process and other areas. That's wrapping up very quickly. We're wrapping up the RAS project. That's the project to install new pumps to get the return sledge back to BNR. That'll be done over the next few weeks. So over the next 6 months, we're going to be finishing up 3 to 4 projects, and we're wrapping up more and more projects. So I'm very proud of our team, Echo Water Project team, not only them, but our operations and maintenance team. We got to give them some of the kudos because they're the ones that are doing a lot of the coordination with this project, and also our construction managers. So again, we're accomplishing a lot on this project, and it's going overall very well.
Great. Thank you. Okay, without further comment, we'll move on to item number 8, please.
Acting as your Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and Sacramento Area Sewer District, District Consent Matters, item number 8.
Is there a motion for consent or any
Move
discussion?
consent.
All right, I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there anybody wishing to speak on this item? Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close public comment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. On to item number 9.
Item number 9, acting as your Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and Sacramento Area Sewer District, establishment of district separate matters. Establishment of advisory committee to review proposed modifications to master interagency agreement and review findings of the staffing and support services study and district merger study.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. So last December-ish that I informed you that we were doing 3 things. One is the master interagency agreement that binds the district, Regional SAN, with its contributing agencies. Included in that agreement is the County of Sacramento for the provision of staffing for the districts. As you know, the district staff comes from the county. So we have been working, we've assembled a team with the contributing agencies. We have worked with them to identify changes to the MIA, and we'll bring those for your approval sometime next year.
Thank you.
These are the changes that were initiated, asked for by the contributing agencies related to how they're compensated or not compensated for collecting our fees. Now the contributing agencies collect Regional SAN's rates and fees, and we don't pay anything. as well as related to the bad debt. So some of those issues will come to your board in terms of what the future would look like. So we've also looked at what kind of relationship should the districts have on a go-forward basis with respect to staffing with the county. And so there's a study done. And then also whether the districts should merge into one as opposed to two districts that we have. We have Regional San and SASD, two separate districts, even though there's some staff provide service for both districts, but we have large groups of staff that provide services to one or the other. What if there would be any benefits in merging into one? So we've also studied that. So what the purpose of this subcommittee is to look at those findings, ask questions, see if there are things that we haven't looked at, and then bring forth the recommendations sometime next year. So I expect this work to happen over the next 6-month period, like a one-a-month kind of meeting. My view of it is that we won't be needing 2 months a meeting. I don't expect we would be needing our 2 board meetings a month. If anything, I think we would only be sufficient with 1. So when we don't have the second meeting, we could use that as a means to meet up on this issue. So I'm asking the chair to select 5 to 7 members to participate in this effort, with essentially a distribution of member agencies picking one position for each of those slots. So that's my request.
And do you have any preference as far as representation from the different agencies within the MIA?
I do not have any preference. All I said is just 5 to 7 different members. So we have 2 county members. We got Yolo and Sacramento County, and then we have 6 city members. We got West Sac, City of Sacramento. I think if you look at it, you might want to, if you're 6 plus 2 are 8. So either you could 8, or it becomes a little bit unwieldy when you have that big a thing. Or you can start with the larger in size and come in that direction in terms of Sacramento County and City of Sacramento might get first and then kind of go in that direction. So that's one other way to do it. Okay, so I'll leave it up to you.
Okay. I already have one person interested in serving on this, Director Villegas, who unfortunately had to leave.
I'm interested.
Okay, so Bruins, Howell, and Orozco. How many is that? That's 4, and then I'll serve as well. There's 5. Anybody else dying to get on this committee? Okay. I think we have it formed then.
My hands are tied to the chair.
Apparently, there's nobody else looking to add to their calendar, so I believe that would be Director Villegas, Director Bruins, Director Howell, Director Orozco, and myself.
Okay.
5 members.
Okay. I think
you have to have somebody from the county of Sacramento. We'll just have to draw short straws to see who it is.
I believe the person that brings up the shortage probably is
My hands are
voluntold to
also.
the position.
I'd like the opportunity to have us discuss it.
That and you are the shortest one, Susan. You were talking about short straws. You're the shortest one.
So we could add that person after they've had that discussion?
Sure. If you guys want to discuss amongst yourself and put somebody on the committee, we'll hold a spot for you.
Thank you.
Okay?
so. We'll wait for the county to.
So that would be up to 6.
Yeah, I think Patrick Kennedy just raised his hand, apparently.
That's what you
Okay,
get
that's
when
what
you have a
happens when
meeting.
he doesn't show up. I will let him know that he was unanimously the rest of the 4.
Him several times, actually.
I'll teach him to show up.
Okay, I'll let him know. So I got 6. I have Director Villegas, Director Orozco, Director Hume, Director Bruins, Director Howell, Director Kennedy, right? I think that's what we got. Okay, good.
Great, thank you. And now on to item number 10, please.
Item number 10, acting as your Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and Sacramento Area Sewer District separate matters. Confluence Regional Partnership Program Annual Report for Fiscal Year 2018-2019.
Good morning. Could I have item number 10? Thank you. Good morning. My name is Christoph Dobson. I'm the Director of Policy and Planning for Regional San and the Sacramento Area Sewer District. And this is our annual report on the Confluence Regional Partnership Program. The funding for the program comes from non-rate, non-fee revenue, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It means that it doesn't come from rates or fees. Basically, Our interest on our reserves are part of the funding. And then also anytime we sell something, whether it's assets, biogas, recycled water, those are all revenue that can be used for this program. And then back in 2017, your boards provided some direction on how we would use these funds. And so that direction was to set up these 5 categories. The Sewer Lifeline Rate Assistance Program is the first one. It's kind of the primary one. We want to make sure we have enough funding for that first, and that helps our lower income customers with their rates. The second one is environmental stewardship, and that's broken into 3 categories or subcategories. There's the American River Parkway, septic tank conversion to help properties with septic systems get off of those and onto the public sewer, and then a more general category of watershed management. Then moving down, the third category is regional economic development, and that is basically, we're using that to offset the impact fees for commercial customers. So if they're generating at least 1 job, they can get a reduction in their impact fee, and that goes up as you generate more jobs. The percentage of your fees gets higher. The next one is our public education category, and then finally other issues or projects, so we have a kind of a catch-all category.
Before you move off the slide, I believe we have some directors that would like to comment. Director Nottoli.
Yeah, just a couple of questions, Christoph. So on the Sewer Lifeline rate assistance, the Confluence program covers both regional SAN and SASD?
Yes, there are 2 programs now, so that was one that we added the SASD more recently.
And I guess I'm curious, there's less in the SASD than there are in the regional SAN by about 1,300. So why the difference in the enrollees? Why would you have folks qualify for regional SAN, at least in that number? There might be some anomalies, but why would you have 11,548 in the SASD Sewer Lifeline Rate Assistance Program, and then 12,800 in regional SAN? It seems like a pretty big spread. I know there's a little bit of less coverage because some of those areas.
So the service area of SASD is smaller than that of regional SAN. So there are people who might qualify for the regional SAN program, but they're not in SASD.
Okay, and that would be in the cities of Sacramento and Folsom?
All of our other contributing agencies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1/2 of the city is not served by SASD, City of Sacramento, and much of City of Folsom is not served by City of Sacramento, and obviously West Sac. So that's where the rest of the
1,300.
1,300 difference is coming from.
Okay, all right. So, and they might be eligible if the cities had a program, but otherwise they only get the coverage in regional.
They won't get the SASD rebate because they're on the city service area.
Okay, all right. that clarifies it. And then just the other quick question is on the septic tank conversion. That the amount you showed there was primarily for the Freeport project, and then you've got 2 in the works this year, and we have, I know, at least 3 others that are potentials, and we got folks that are chomping at the bit, at least one of the Delta communities. So do you have a higher number budgeted for 1920 for that environmental stewardship portion of the septic tank conversion?
So the septic tank conversion one is difficult to look at on an annual basis, because when we start the project, we don't know how much grant funding we're going to get, and we're only backfilling behind it. So bottom line is that we budget for this overall Confluence program, but if there's a spike in the costs in one year because we actually construct it during that year, we'll be able to absorb that. And then there may be years where we spend very little because we're not in the construction process. And again, it varies based on how much grant funding we got.
And I know that in Freeport, we had to advance the money. Have we finally gotten some reimbursement for the state's portion of the grant? Because we basically had to handle the float for a while in order to get that project underway.
We're still floating the money, but we will get reimbursed. It's when the construction is done, we'll start that process.
Okay, is that how it works? You don't get your state grant until everything's done? That's not the rules of the game, as I recall.
Yeah. So this one. Because we wanted to expedite and get this construction through, we didn't wait for the state to complete all their lengthy review process. Once we got a preliminary approval, we went ahead and did it. And so we're almost at the end. I haven't even signed the final contract yet. They came out and inspected, so we'll get one check. But in the future, because they're small projects, they expect like a they're kind of reimbursements, and it keeps our costs down and their costs down as well.
Okay.
And we are able to, on a $2 to $3 million range, we're able to absorb that cost and wait for the reimbursement.
And last thing, do you use the confluence account then to cover the float, or do you use other district accounts in order to?
We have reserves. The confluence program is a year-end accounting thing that we do. Right now, because of the interest rates, not as high as they were at least some months ago, we're still in a pretty decent shape with respect to both districts. We roughly have about $10+ million on the regional sand side and a couple of $1 million, $1.5 million or so on the SASD side.
Okay.
So we're able to front that and then get that money back.
Okay, thanks.
Great, thank you. Director Howell.
I was just going to ask what the plan was on the for getting the septic tank conversion stuff done. So how many are there left to do?
Well, there are 5 projects that we're looking at, including the Freeport, and there are potentially some others. We're doing some looking into West Sacramento to see if there's anything there, and also the city of Sacramento. So, but we've got 5 communities that have been identified, and we're working through those.
Okay.
So we got Hood, Franklin. Those are the 2, just to kind of give you where they are. And Orange Park Cove, Linda Manor, and Old Florin Town. Those are the 5 that are on the books that we're continuing to do the environmental studies and preliminary work in the expectation that we would have some grants coming. And in some instances, I think the grant may not be sufficient to cover where we said we would bring back here if the opportunity is right to put additional monies into it so we can get those taken care of when we have this opportunity with the state. So that'll come forth here sometime early next year in terms of what kind of funding shortfalls we're looking at.
Okay.
One other thing, individuals are also eligible for this program, so we are doing occasionally a single lot that needs to convert.
Okay.
So on the individual front is that we can grant up to $25,000 if it's a low income. And whereas if it's high income, we would be waiving the impact fees. That would be as low as waiving the impact fees to as high as $25,000 is a range where people could be eligible for, and they're taking advantage of that program. Christoph, one more thing I wanted to add just for the benefit of the discussion on the environmental stewardship, especially for the American River Parkway. We have, through the county, committed $200,000 for Pride Industries to hire homeless folks to go help with the cleanup, to essentially to provide, as you remember, Director Frost, that there was. What I heard from the my counterparts on the county side is that program hasn't really been able to attract a steady stream of homeless folks to continue to help. They're still looking at it, whether we would be successful, but what I indicated to them is we would continue to support if there's a need that exists in that area. They may be looking for other vendors besides the one that they currently have. So I just wanted to give you a sort of a feedback in terms of what I'm getting from the other side. So the money that we have allocated, $200,000, it was not completely spent this last year.
Director Serna.
Thank you. So that's a good segue into the comments that I wanted to make here. My question is, first of all, I want to thank you and your staff for clearly hearing me and others over the years about the prospect of adding some value to the overall effort to keep the American River Parkway as clean and safe as possible. But my question is, how are we managing the allocation for this specific allocation relative to understanding what our regional parks department are doing? How are we using the limited funds to best leverage other opportunities or to complement some of the initiatives that the regional parks department manages to keep the parkway clean? I think you answered some of it just now. Yeah. But if it's clearly not working, this $200,000 appropriation as planned, then I would like to understand how we think we can maybe regroup and reapply those funds with the clear objective to make sure that we're maximizing the ability to keep, especially the lower reach and some of the most impacted parts of the parkway, as clean as possible.
Very good point. So on regional sand side, we have made a commitment of actually $400,000 through the county, $200,000 just for Pride Industries to hire whoever they needed to hire to clean. That's a $200,000 chunk. I think that's spent, that is used up. The other $200,000 explicitly supporting the hiring of the homeless to help. That is where I don't believe the county has been able to spend the money in that account. On top of it, we have funded with the city $100,000 for the providing septic services for the homeless. So that was spent. We paid for that, reimbursed the city for that. And then we've also funded the American River E. coli study, helping us to see whether it's the bacteria that's associated with the homeless encampments and whatnot. So we've actually the seed funder for that effort, and we're continuing to engage. We're actually funded the county's portion of the study as well. It's a three-party agreement between the city, regional
water
sand,
quality
and the county parks. So we paid ours in the parks.
How does that relate to what the state's doing?
I'm sorry?
How does that relate to what the state is doing on that front?
State actually is guiding the effort as opposed to putting the money. State hasn't brought much money to the table yet. It's our money that actually is at play. And I'm going to let Christoph.
Well, the state has provided a lot of in-kind service. They're doing a lot of the work, a lot of the sampling.
Okay. So last comment here, and I know others are queued up to speak. Remember too that it's not just regional parks that is using general fund monies and other funds to clean the parkway. We also have some funds from SWA that are also applied in the context of addressing illegal dumping, and as I've done here many times, I deal with that board to try and direct energy and resources to the parkway as best I can. And I know others on this board that also serve on that board have done likewise. I would like to suggest that at some point, maybe first quarter of next year, I would like a briefing with you, Prabhakar, with the director of SWA, and maybe with Liz from our Regional Parks Department to understand how we're using funds, personnel, equipment, everything that's dedicated to cleaning up the parkway from these three agencies, because I really haven't gotten my mind wrapped around kind of the totality of how we're clearly managing all those resources from different places. So
definitely,
sometime
we'll
in the spring.
Okay. And I'll also tell you, we are proactively reaching out to the city as well as the county counterparts to say, continue to come up with the funding requests in these areas, because we definitely wanted to engage them in that area.
And there may be others on this board that may likewise be interested in that briefing, so we might want to make it a bigger group too. Thank you.
Okay, Director Carr, and then
Yes,
Director
thank you.
Frost.
One of my concerns has been the Sewer Lifeline Rate Assistance Program, and almost all of the utilities have a program similar to this, where the boards and the councils have committed to providing assistance to low-income residents. The catch has been that in order to receive that discount, you must be a rate-paying customer. And so at the city, what we did is look at those rate-paying customers, ratepayers who were eligible for the SMUD program, because SMUD is individually metered. And in the multifamily complexes, none of the other utilities are individually metered. So they are technically not customers of the utility. So what we did at the city was to identify in those multifamily complexes where many of the low-income residents reside, identify those SMUD customers who are in those apartments, and working with a cooperative owner, identify who has been there for a year, and provide on a pilot basis the income for the rebate for the water that have been used for that year. Now, we're still trying to work through all that's involved in doing that because you have to have a cooperative landlord. You have to have a way to verify that the individual has lived there for the required period of time that you're giving them the discount. So we're still working through that. But I am hopeful, Pre-Brocker and Chris, that we can bring this to this district and provide those rebates and do the same thing with PG&E as well, so that the intent of all of those boards and councils to provide relief to low-income residents can be realized even though they live in a multifamily complex that's not individually metered. That's more of a kind of a aspiration than a question, but I want you to know we're still working it.
Yeah, we continue to work with the city on that, and of course the biggest issue is identifying how to you need some way to show that the person in the apartment is actually paying for that sewer bill, and if we can do that, then we can get the rebate.
Yeah, the problem, Chris, is that they pay for it, but that payment is wrapped up into what the owner is charging the tenant.
Right.
There's a pilot with the city that on one apartment complex that you've been involved with that we're working with the city side. I don't know the exact disposition of this, and I can get back with you. I think the last I understood was that if the owner was going to provide those receipts or the statements in terms of this is what the charge of the rent that is going towards the sewer, that either the city was going to reimburse them for ours, so we can reimburse it, because the way that we collect the charges is the city collects the charges on our behalf and pays on a quarterly basis to Regional Sand. And we agree to, if you can show, go ahead and give them a check along with your check so that you can deduct from the revenues that you need to remit to us. So I need to find out where exactly that is.
Well, the city went ahead with its own project. Initially, we had talked about working with Regional Sands and have Regional Sands cut the checks.
Which we were willing to do that,
because it may have been onerous for the city to do that. But on a pilot project with just a few hundred customers, the city decided to go ahead and see what was involved in writing the checks and getting the income dispersed and working with the property owner. We're still working through that process. But
I'll follow up.
I am hopeful that we're able to do that with not only Regional Sands, but with the other utilities, so that the real reason that these programs were approved by the boards and the councils was to give relief to low-income residents, and it's not happening because of this donut hole.
Very good. Thank you. Director Frost.
I just wanted to comment just a little bit on the Pride Ascent program, because it was kind of a vision that I had, and I totally agree with Director Serna in that it's important to keep working on the parkway and to have programs that are successful. I went out and met with those the Pride folks that are administering the program, and the challenge that they had right out of the chute was just getting individuals who were not on marijuana or alcohol. They did the testing, and everybody was testing for it, and then they ended up waiving that requirement and continuing with the training and recruiting enough people that could actually that were able to come out every day and work in a certification program and then do actual physical work. And also one of the concerns was that maybe construction was a little bit more difficult than maybe some other work programs like janitorial or culinary, or that there might be some other areas that aren't so intimidating and intense. And so we just wanted you to know, Prabhakar, we definitely knew we were going to look at it at the end of the year and we want to put our money toward programs that are working. And so
We'll be supporting that kind of thing, so as part of that, as long as it's kind of helping with the American River cleanup.
Yeah.
I've also heard that there may be a different vendor that we might be looking at as well to help with this. But again, we'll work with the county staff.
And the other thing I wanted to mention is the E. coli and the safety, swimming safety and the signage and so forth. That is emerging as a bigger, it seems like
It is. It's a lot of
a public
focus.
safety issue. So this is something that really connects with what we do here. So I'm hoping we can support that effort. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Orozco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think, so one of my questions was, who was the vendor for the homeless services for the Parkway cleanup? Is that Pride? Is that the name of the vendor?
Pride Industries.
Well, there are a lot of, for this one program, it was Pride Industries.
Okay.
And they've done an amazing job. I think the big challenge that they had was with recruitment. They couldn't get enough people out of the number that they recruited that could actually do it. And so the idea we had was recruit more, but that's not really, that's been the challenge, is getting enough, recruiting enough people so that you have that number that actually can follow through with it. I think, is that the impression you had also?
That's what I
Prabhakar?
heard. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're working on it, but I don't know if that's going to be, I don't know how this is, we'll have to review it at the end of the year and see if it's, if there's something better we can do with the money.
I think if the principal objective just remains, first and foremost, how best to maximize the use of the resources to clean the parkway. Kind of, I don't want to say regardless of who's doing it. I think there's a real opportunity to kill a couple birds here with a single stone, but if it's not panning out the way we want, I think we really need to keep our eyes on the prize, which is to really, we're pulling tens of thousands of tons of trash out of the parkway on a fairly regular basis. So it's kind of like, painting the Golden Gate Bridge, but we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can, especially in that lower reach, to really focus on the prime objective here.
Well, on that note, in the city of West Sacramento, we did our pilot with the Downtown Streets team, and it was a wild success. So, in so much that we went ahead and re-extended our contract with them. We have a large waiting list, and I know that we brought them, that they've come into Sacramento as well, and have been doing a really good job. So, it's just another vendor to consider.
The county's actually worked with Downtown Streets team for about a year, and we had separate challenges. It's a little different on the parkway, I'll just say, versus in kind of urban areas when you're trying to employ these folks to come out and assist and flank our parks department. It's a 4,500 acre recreational asset that is a lot different than a suburban neighborhood or an urban neighborhood, and so it has separate challenges.
Director Howell.
This is going back to Mr. Carr's comment. I believe there's maybe only a few of us that are still here. When we talked about this years ago, probably 10 or 12 years ago, we actually went to SMUD and got their list, trying to extend the ability for the lower income folks to get a break on more than just the SMUD bill, because SMUD has a very extensive database on that. But the problem at the end of the day, and we'll see if the city of Sacramento is able to solve it, but what it comes down to is that the sewer fees are being paid through the rent. Yeah. And I don't know how you guys are going to follow that back from the landlord. So it's going to be challenging to try to do that.
Great, thank you. Director Frost, you had a
I was just going to say, street team is a little different than this because this is a job training program. It was a way to wrap them with services, give them a work on their resume, put them in a shelter, give them, assistance with the DA to clean up their records so that they're actually job ready, and they do an internship and land in a job, and then we can connect them with housing. So it was a comprehensive program. It's like everything with homelessness, it's more complex than one might imagine. It's not an easy fix.
With our program, they actually do receive a variety of services. We've employed 11 since the inception of the program, and so, that's different, I'm sure, in even different jurisdictions, even the way it's set up, but just something to look at.
I've heard about your program, and it's amazing too, so I didn't know you were doing job training, though, so that's great.
Okay, are there any directors that have not yet spoken on slide 3 of 9? All right, Christoph.
I'm ready with the clicker. All right. Let me just make sure I didn't dump. Okay. So just real quick, some pictures from some of the work that was done over the past year. I have a partnership with Yolo County Sheriff. They were able to get some equipment to use for abandoned boat removal, which is good not only from the mitigating the environmental issues, but also safety issues as well. And then the lower pictures are just around some of the cleanup of the American River Parkway that we've been talking about. Some of the other projects, American River Parkway and Steelhead Creek cleanup efforts, we funded some projects there. The bacteria study that has been mentioned already, it's partnership with Regional Water Board and then some of the other local agencies, stormwater agencies. Funding septic to sewer conversion, specifically in the town of Freeport. That project has been very successful and we're almost done with that. The construction's going to be wrapping up soon. I mentioned the economic development, offsetting some of the commercial impact fees. On the public education front, continued funding for Powerhouse Science Center, also the SPLASH program, and Hands in the River is a newer partnership. We've worked with the organization, it's Sierra Nevada Journey, and they've developed a curriculum around 5th grade science. It's focused on critical thinking skills and then also resource stewardship. So it's a real exciting program for us. And we talked about making sure that we could capture school districts that were throughout our service area. So it was another good example of my thinking of Director Orozco and making sure that they were doing something in West Sacramento, and they weren't at the time. And I don't know the status, but they are. That was part of our discussion with them, is to make sure they reached out to Washington Unified. And finally, another interesting project, we're funding some design work on the Morrison Creek Revitalization Project. And with that, I was going to jump over and give some people who've actually been on the ground doing these projects and let them tell you a little bit about them. Our first one up is Gary Martin from Access Sacramento.
And Gary, I have a speaker slip from you. I presume your presentation here will supersede that?
They're connected, yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Gary Martin. I'm the Executive Director at Access Sacramento. And we are now in a second-year partnership under the Public Education Grant Fund of $2,000 to support education through high schools primarily. We've been working with Nicole Coleman and ultimately with Brad Clark from Franklin High School in the Elk Grove District. In order to better explain kind of what we're doing, I have two videos for you. They are a part of a high school video creation program for public service announcements. And from last year, these are the two first place winners. Both happen to be from Franklin High School. So two 30-second videos for you. This particular program is designed to help high school students in a linked learning opportunity between their education programs in video and in animation to work with a client, in this instance Regional SAN, and under the coordination with Nicole Coleman. The goal here is to help students understand that in the real workaday of creating video, that many times you have a client, and that client has to be pleased and satisfied with the result. In the last 5 years of the program, we typically get between 70 and 100 entries. In this last year, with a grant program from Regional SAN of $2,000 cash awards as honorarium to the top video projects, these students ultimately get to see their work on Access Sacramento, our cable distribution. Much like Metro 14, we are the public access opportunity in the area. They get to see their programs on our channel, but we also invite Nicole and people from her staff to award these checks live on television during a program that we do called Live Wire, Wednesdays at 5 o'clock. So I will only tell you that this type of educational program has value not just to the students who get to work in the linked learning opportunity, but also because these videos are shared in social media from the websites that Regional SAN operates and from our websites. So the messages of don't use wipes or don't put mercury into the system, and ultimately with improved sanitation by fog. I can tell you I very much know this acronym now because I've seen a lot of videos about it. No fats, oils, or greases. So it is an effective program, and I think it's a really worthy use of $2,000 toward about a $3,000 expense in our budget to make this project operate. So we support it, and we thank you for supporting it as well. We do offer special thanks to Brad Clark from Franklin High School, who's been our high school coordinator on this project now for its 6th year. We have invited 32 media arts instructors from the local high schools this year to participate. They have till the end of this month to sign up to agree to be a part of the program. We would expect to have a large number of videos turned in again by early next year. Nicole and her team review those, and those projects that are on task, communicating a message, all get, at least at a minimum, a certificate of merit. We offer cash awards for the honorable mentions, and then 3rd place, 2nd place, and 1st place in both an animation and a live performance kind of video like the one you saw just now with the real sunsets and the river. Thank you again for your support, and we are delighted to be a partner as part of your Partnership Education Grant Program. And I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Gary. Any questions? No? Appreciate your work. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thanks to Nicole for spearheading it.
Good morning, directors. I'm Stephanie Stevens. I'm the executive director for the California Park and Recreation Society. We are a nonprofit organization, trade association that provides advocacy, education, and networking for park and recreation professionals around the state. We have number one, I'm here to say thank you so much, because we have been part of the Freeport sewer conversion. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Once again, thank you. Our organization has lived at the corner of Cosumnes River Boulevard and Freeport Boulevard for about 30 years now, and we are very excited to now be off of our smelly, sinking, landscaping, septic system that we have been on for so many years, and to be on this public sewer system. I can also want to say thank you very much to the folks at the Sacramento Area Sewer District and Regional SAN, everyone that we have been in communication with over the last, gosh, it's been what, a year, 18 months or so that we've been in talks about this project, have been amazing to work with. The communication has been outstanding. I can call with any number of silly questions, and Peter Castles especially is the one that I've been working with, has been open and willing to chat with me about that. So definitely want to give a shout out to them. The contractors that came and worked on site, we actually were at the very end of the conversion project, so we actually got turned on first. Yay for us. The Contractors were great to work with. My only complaint is they wouldn't let me drive the big equipment when they were destroying my septic tank. I really wanted to do that, I know. Every day I would go out and say hello to those folks, ask them what they were doing. They were more than willing to, stop for a second and just kind of give me anything I ever wanted to know, not really about a septic or a sewer tank, but now I know, right? So that is great. So thank you for that as well. So we are a nonprofit organization, and obviously grant programs like this are very important to us now that the funds to maintain our our septic system can now be rediverted into member services because we won't have to be taking care of that septic tank any longer. And our property values have now increased as well because of where we're located and now being on that public sewer system. So thank you for that. Finally, I want to say thank you for protecting our water supply system for future generations. Obviously, we're Parks and Recreation folks. We understand as stewards of public lands the importance of our water supply. So thank you for your foresight in setting aside money and helping folks like us be able to convert into a public system so that we can make sure that the Sacramento River is maintained for years to come. So happy to answer any questions for you. And also, if you are interested, I brought some Parks Make Life Better pins for you all because parks do make everyone's life better, don't they? So thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephanie. Director Howell.
This is probably for Prabhakar, but are they the last address that, given that they're like right next to the outfall? I just find it bizarre that, that they weren't tied into the system.
It has to come back into the plant, right?
I know. So tying it back into the system is much longer than just going directly to the outfall.
Oh, yes. Yeah, if that's your question, definitely. It's even though that looks like it's right next to the outfall, and actually in
it's
this
right
case,
next to the outfall and really far from the plant.
I'm sorry.
It's right next to the outfall and really far from the plant.
It is. That's as far as you can go from. Well, I shouldn't say as far because Folsom is the farthest on the east side. Yeah. But one thing I wanted to mention is the city. We worked with the cities. There's a small portion of the city sewer system we're making use of. City has graciously, City of Sacramento, by the Verizon at the corner, they manage it. So they allowed us to tap into that. And from there, it's connected to our interceptors and comes back to the treatment plant. I think in the first week of November, we've got a final sort of a community meeting that's coming up where the pump manufacturer is going to do some demos for the homeowners. And then I think we'll have Director Nottoli going to be there, just kind of close the project. That's what we're going to do. It's going to be a very successful project. Finally, they're very happy, and they see that finally this sewer service is here.
Great. Thank you. Director Nottoli.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo certainly Stephanie's thanks and that of others here because, again, this project, once it got going, it went pretty quickly. But to your point, you were there even before Casuma's Boulevard tied into Freeport Boulevard. I would just say, though, that this was probably 20 years, and from the time of the kind of genesis of the idea to actually getting to closing in on the completion of the project. And I want to thank district staff, both the SASD and certainly Regional Sanitation, and a whole lot of other folks, and certainly business owners and residents, because we had a lot of meetings over the years and couldn't get the price down, and finally were able to, through the Confluence program and the district's efforts, to achieve that with sewer credits and some of the other things. And so appreciate the patience. And I know that you folks struggle with the septic system there at your offices for a long time. So it's a good day all the way around. So thanks again, Stephanie, for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Fresh water's next, right? I'm just kidding. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it looks like that'll be our last speaker. I think Sergeant Sam Machado is not able to make it today, so he was going to describe a little bit more about the equipment that they were able to use to identify the underwater craft and stuff like that. But you do have the pictures in your packet, and you take a look at them, but that's all we have.
Great, and so I believe that brings us to the end of the presentation.
Yes, it is.
And I'm going to assume that we've exhausted director comments at this point and move on to item number 11.
I just wanted to mention that we won't have a second board meeting in October, so the next one is November 13th.
But do we want to do that subcommittee that same day?
Not this month. I think we're going to be preparing a little bit for that, so most likely either November or December when we'll start that.
Okay, but I'm just a suggestion. If we think we're only going to be having one board meeting, then maybe we use that time slot for that subcommittee.
Which is what the intent is. So I'll let you know if we're prepared to make that presentations and for the subcommittee by this meeting, then we'll use the time slot. So I'll send a note out to the members.
Great.
We still have the closed session.
Yes.
So we'll just, after this, we'll go to the closed session and we'll complete afterwards.
Okay, we will note the communications received and filed and adjourn into closed session.
And